welcome and good evening to Health Wildcatters Pitch Day 2021. My name is Hubert Zaitchik. I run Health Wildcatters, and this is a great and exciting evening for us here. Many of you have been to these events before. For some of you, it's the first time. I can promise you it'll be a fun evening. I'm also welcoming our Zoom participants who are, as always, more than the ones in person, but it's slowly changing. Thank you all for being here in person and being on the crest of making it back to normalcy. It's my pleasure also to introduce my partners, Dr. Clay Heighton, Carl Sotos, and J.R. Garcia. All three are my partners here. All three are helping with the guidance and direction of Health Wildcatters, and I can lean on them at any time. They are on Zoom, I know that for sure, tonight. I also have the pleasure of working with, I don't need to show you that picture because you know her, Lindsay Settles, every single day. To say that that's a pleasure is an understatement. She is tremendous in what she can do. You see her in action here. And if you don't know Lindsay Settles, then I don't know how you made it here. Frankly, I call her sometimes, where am I supposed to be? So she keeps us in check and she runs our program flawlessly. Join me in thanking Lindsay for her efforts. It really is, makes such a difference to work with people like Lindsay, and it's a true pleasure. You probably met Javelin Castellanos on our front, at our front desk, and also possibly Lance Manning, who's helping us out as well. Both are helping with our hackathons, and we're grateful to them as well. We couldn't do what we do here without our sponsors. Most importantly, tonight, you couldn't be drinking great beer without our beer sponsor, Manhattan Project Beer Company. And Sanjay is here. Oh yeah, some of you are there, Sanjay. One of our mentors who's got a special connection to them as a co-owner. But our sponsors throughout the year are listed all here on this side. With their contributions and support of Health Wildcatters, they support health innovation, entrepreneurship, and really all of us here, the community, startup community in Dallas. And it is really true that without their help, we could absolutely not be doing what we're doing, especially on the public-facing side. So it is a true gift to all of us. The other group of people that Health Wildcatters could not be without are our mentors and investors. We have over 200 mentors in our program, over 130 actually investors. And they don't just give their money and time, but also their advice and guidance to our startups. And if you are a mentor, an investor, a sponsor, please stand up. And if you're too shy, I'm gonna wait. So I'm gonna start calling you out. So stand up, please. 1, 2, 3. Online, online we recognize you here as well with our applause. It is truly unique, the group of people that are supporting us in these startups here, and we absolutely could not do this without them. For those of you who don't know us as well, I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes of running you through what Health Wildcatters is and what we do. We help startups, we save lives, we create returns. If we do those three things, not necessarily in that order, but if we do those three things, a lot of other great things happen, including the community support and the type of activities that you see, like hackathons and investment conferences. We have to date invested in over 88 companies that come from 30 states and 5 different countries. They have received investment capital of over $200 million in their time since we got started. The pillars of Health Wildcatters are mentorship and education, a workspace and environment that is conducive to bringing business resources and funding to these startups and to the people that spend time with us here at Health Wildcatters. You know that the basics of the program are, the backbone is investors that come together and invest in a fund that invests in these startups every year. Our investment is very modest in each of these startups. It can be much more significant later on, but to start with, when these startups join us, they're not getting the promise of the big money. And that's not why they're here. They're really here for all the other things that are happening. And it's truly rewarding to see them congregate from all over the planet, literally, to be here. The program lasts 3 months. It's a boot camp style type of program. We, this year specifically, had over 300 mentor meetings that we coordinated and many more miles traveled, but the bar was pretty low from last year, I have to admit. So more miles traveled, many more to go from going virtual to a hybrid program. Specifically in 2021, there are some things that are pretty unique about this cohort that you're about to meet. And they come from either have roots or backgrounds in 5 different continents. We're missing South America. This year, we've had that before. Got some entrepreneurs from South American roots right here. And we are missing and really searching for the Antarctica entrepreneurs, but I'm not holding my breath. Penguins are probably not great. So anyway, we're happy with the diversity of this group this year. It's truly rewarding. Also, half of them are women-led, as you will see in a minute here. So it's pretty amazing. Running a hybrid cohort, which means we were, of course, in-person only, last year, virtual only, which means some of the entrepreneurs we've invested in I've never met face-to-face. Neither has Lindsay or my partners. We've invested in them and run through the whole program and still waiting to meet them face-to-face one day. I've seen them on Zoom many times, but never in person. Still true this year, too, of at least one startup. But the startups this year span 9 hours worth of time zones from Italy all the way to California. They come from Venice, Italy, Aachen, Germany, Boston, Winston-Salem, Chicago, Seattle, Palo Alto, San Diego, Waco, and South Lake, Texas. How about that? Lindsay specifically has become a master of the hybrid meeting agenda. It is a whole nother beast to do both simultaneously and to deliver a quality product. And that's certainly what we had this year with some startups here in person, some virtually, some visiting on certain occasions. In 2021, we had our second MedVentures conference. It was the second one that was also virtual. We're going back to an in-person conference this year in conjunction with the Healthcare Dealmakers Conference in May of 2022. These are the winners of last year's event. It was important to us in 2020 to not cancel the conference like everyone else did. We, within a month, changed the format and brought it online as one of the first, if not the first, healthcare investment conference that went virtual. Now, we're all tired of virtual, but at the time, it was the first time that something is not being canceled, but it's actually happening. And we discovered, of course, that it was a great product and delivered value. The Texas Healthcare Challenge that we had in March of this year was a virtual event. It was our first virtual one. Even though it was a great event, we hope it is and remains our first and only virtual one. We want hackathons to happen in person. So this one was great and fun, but we're going back, and I'm happy to announce that we have our next and 5th Texas Healthcare Challenge planned for January 14 and 15. This one is, of course, in person. It is under the theme of Women in Science and Health. So specifically, we'll have over 100 women working on healthcare problems up here over the course of that weekend. And we're excited to have the support of, as you can see, Lyda Hill Philanthropies, Biotech at Pegasus Park, and the SBA, which is SBIR and STTR sub-program. So many of you know, because maybe you spent your morning at a veterans event, many of you know it is Veterans Day today. I think it's the first time that Pitch Day falls on Veterans Day. And the freedom that we enjoy today was hard fought for. I know it's easy to become critical of our country. We have our flaws, but I challenge you to find a better one. Here are 3 examples of Health Wildcatters entrepreneurs who've led startups here. Matt Holland, Eric Frey, and Irving Rivera. I saw Irving actually yesterday. They're all veterans, and they're just an example here of the veterans that we look up to. These three and many others out there have chosen to defend all the things that we hold dearly. Many of them have paid the ultimate sacrifice for us to have the opportunity to assemble freely and for upholding all the rights and values we hold dearly. Freedom is not free. Let's recognize our veterans up here on the slide, as well in the audience. I don't know who you are, don't know. And please stand up if you're a veteran. If you're on Zoom, unfortunately we can't see you, but let us applaud you and our three as well. I believe there's no more patriotic expression of our appreciation for these hard-fought freedoms than to become a healthcare entrepreneur. That includes our international startups who are operating here and also in their respective home countries. You're about to meet 10 of them, and I can tell you're in for a great ride. They are phenomenal individuals and teams that are doing some really, really cool stuff.
Hi. My name is Steve Sailing. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce a great innovator, David Hoja, who is going to talk about a wicked awesome technology. He studied mechanical engineering and health management at Harvard. David has invented many medical devices and smart platforms. David is passionate about empowering people with physical challenges to live independently and making a significant social impact. He is the founder and CEO of Fly Parrots. His company is a game changer. He is creating accessible artificial intelligence and machine learning for the disabled. That is pretty damn cool.
Hi everyone, I am David Hoja, founder and CEO of Parrot Inc. Our mission is empowering people with physical and communication challenges to connect with the world. We do believe there are millions of people like Stephen Hawking out there, just missing accessible technology to be the next scientist, the next engineers, the next designer, whatever they want to be. And we're here to empower them to be able to achieve their dream, starting with communications. A lot of people, they face communications challenges. They cannot use their own voices to communicate and interact with others. At the same time, they need expensive healthcare 24/7. We're talking about millions of patients with multiple sclerosis, ALS, cerebral palsy, spinal cord injury, and many other conditions. That's why we built Poly, which is a platform harnessing the power of AI and machine learning, giving them a smart voice and telecare. Nowadays, our users can communicate in real time just by using their eyes. We have our 5 values, we call them our 5 C's. The most important value is communication. Nowadays, they spend 10 minutes to 20 minutes to speak one sentence, but if they're using our system, they can speak within seconds. We use a lot of computer visions and also speech recognitions, understanding the surrounding, what is happening to them every single moment. We connect them to smart home devices. At the same time, we are compatible with a lot of ability switches so they can use their eyes or a joystick or a head mouse or a Shen control. Stephen Hawking, for example, he was using a Shen control. Steve Sailing, who introduced me, he was using a head mouse. Also, we provide caregiving with telecare solutions. This is one use case. This is Jack in his nursing home. He has multiple sclerosis, so he cannot interact. The system can understand what's happening to him. For example, if he's getting hot and he's wearing a sweater, the system can detect that and predict the sentence before even he say anything. It's just confirming the sentence with one blink and keep learning over time, whether they're having a meal or having a physical therapy sessions and so on. Another, we added alarm system. So if they're facing emergency or they're falling from bed or falling from the wheelchair, the system can detect that even without saying anything. Even the healthcare team, the nurse, the family members can check on their patients in real time if they need special conditions, or some of them they need to check because We use ventilators or CPAP and many others, so that life monitoring is very important. A lot of our active users right now, they love our system because they're happy with the communications, and also it's saving time and money for the caregivers and the patient. We are working right now to get our devices covered by insurance with the public, private sectors, and also with the VA. We are actually in the process. We already talked with the medical director in Seattle. We are in the process to be covered by the VA insurance. Up to date, we already have over 200 users and already won almost 450K non-dilutive grants, including Novartis Multiple Sclerosis Award, and we have a partnership with many organizations like Verizon, Cerebral Palsy Foundation, Multiple Sclerosis Society, and many nursing homes around the country. This is our current investors. We already raised $500,000 from all of them. And also we are heading toward to complete the round with 1 million as a pre-seed round, then opening the seed round next year. For this round, we're just missing 700K, mainly gonna use to expand the team, filing for the insurance, and also reaching 1,000 users. Here's our financial projection, and more is coming once the insurance is get approved. And we have great potential exit strategy with many companies, including Google, Microsoft, even Tobii, one of the competitors in the space. We are a really passionate team from different background skills. Myself, I work many companies in drone, medical devices. Elise Veron, also in Washington, D.C. with marketing and healthcare background. Glenn from MIT with over 25 years experience in robotics and telecommunications. We have also great advisors all around the country, such as Dr. Ori Cooper, who is a veteran, and happy Veteran Day. We are a professor at the University of Pittsburgh, and we have many others like Katie, who's a speech pathologist who worked with Google. And we have been in many places winning awards and competitions, such as we won a few months ago the South by Southwest, the AI category, and also have been featured as a top pick in last year TechCrunch, one of the winners in Verizon 5G Challenge, and also we're going to be awarded next week in Seattle the Entrepreneur of the Year in Washington State. And everybody's welcome if you're welcome to join us at the convention center in Seattle. This is our mission, and I hope you can join us to empower all of them to be really independent and free. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Paul Hirschman. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there tonight or today to be with you, but I'm traveling, and I really, really wanted to go ahead and have the opportunity to introduce Angela LaRue to you. And I think she's got, I have a high level of confidence in her, and I'm extremely enthusiastic about the product that they're bringing to market. I've been building healthcare companies for 35 years, taking some of them public, and sold to an international company back 2 years ago. And I've focused in plastic surgery, dermatology. I'm involved as a board director with Ideal Implant. We have a solution that's not a gel implant. And I just want you to know it's a huge problem. And I think that women are tired of it, and the FDA is looking at it strongly. If you look at the rates of rupture, it's like in 10-year data shows from 9.3% of the 24.4% of women will have a silent rupture within 10 years. I think it's bad. And we did a survey, and we surveyed over 1,000 women, and 97% of them that said that they would want to know if they're silent rupture, if they rupture implant, and 95% said that they would want it out. And if you want it out, I'll tell you, this is the product that will do it easier, faster than any other product out there. So I hope you really give this serious consideration. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Angela LaRue, co-founder of A. LaRue Company. I began my surgical nursing career in the operating room of a large hospital with a team of around 80 surgeons. We performed all types of surgery, from neurosurgery to orthopedic surgery. If you can think of the surgery, I've probably assisted on it. Currently, I specialize in aesthetic surgery, and it was one day during a ruptured breast implant removal that I realized that surgeons across multiple specialties had a common problem: gelatinous materials. Whether it's a ruptured breast implant, blood clots, bowel contents, or abscess infectious materials, they are all hard to remove. And for the patient, their health, if not their very life, depends upon complete removal of these substances. So I took all that I had learned from 80 plus surgeons and I incorporated it into the LaRue Surgical Evacuator. We can handle the volume and viscosity of a breast implant, contain bowel contents, or evacuate a large blood clot within seconds with minimum cross-contamination and biohazard exposure. They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. I hope this illustrates to you why surgeons struggle with silicone and other gelatinous materials. They get all over their gloves, coat their surgical instruments, and are easily reintroduced back into the body. Surgeons need a new approach. Currently, they use one of two methods to remove ruptured breast implants, either en bloc with total capsulectomy or hand and sponge removal. Both of these methods lead to longer surgery times and cross-contamination. Our device improves the efficiency and effectiveness of both of these methods. We have 3 surgeons on our scientific advisory board. All 3 have used our device in surgery, and they tell us that we can save them 20 minutes per breast, which equates to $2,700 cost savings per case. We are a Class 2, 510K exempt medical device. For a quicker, less expensive market entry, we are also partnering with an ISO 13485 manufacturer, so everything from manufacturing to distribution to regulatory compliance will all be handled under one roof. We plan to enter the aesthetic market first. As it is private pay, we can build revenue as we add on and then add on the expensive hospital surgeries. By 2023, when we enter the market, the cosmetic surgery market is projected to be $22 billion. Breast augmentation is the #1 aesthetic surgery, and all breast implants are subject to rupture. The rate of rupture increases the longer an implant is in your body. And while rupture rates may vary among the brands of implants, new studies suggest that silicone in the silicone implants all degrade over time. And as they degrade, that silicone can leak out into the body whether it's ruptured or not. The FDA just placed a black box warning on implants just this year. But we have significant expansion potential beyond just aesthetics. We have surgical applications in colorectal surgery, general surgery, and orthopedic surgery. That means we are applicable for over 1 million surgeries per year, or 2.6 million devices per year, or a total annual revenue of over $500 million. To date, we have our FDA classification. We have been granted 1 U.S. utility patent. A second one is pending. We have conducted our clinical proof of concept testing, and as of tonight, we have completed the Health Wildcatters Accelerator Program. Going forward in 2022, we intend to manufacture our first round with 2,000 units, complete our GMP testing to be on the market in 2023. In 2024, We will conduct our research and development for additional hospital surgery launch in 2025. We are raising $850,000, and with this money, we will purchase our manufacturing molds, manufacture 2,000 units, complete our GMP testing, and develop a presence in the aesthetic community. We have a lot going for us. We are the solution to a clearly defined problem. We have market appeal to surgeons and hospitals as we cut procedure costs and time. We have one U.S. utility patent and a second one is pending. We have a clear regulatory pathway, a proven proof of concept, and conservative sales projections show us reaching our break-even point in year one for a quicker return on investment. I lead the team with my partner and COO, a three-time business founder with 25 years experience in business ownership and management. We have put together an advisory team of scientific, legal, scaling, and clinical support, and we have just added a key advisor whose experience in taking several medical aesthetic devices from inception to commercialization to exit will be vital in our journey to commercialization and beyond. Please join us on our mission to help surgeons reduce surgery time and cost while providing better patient outcomes. We are a LaRue company where less mess equals less stress.
Hello, I am Dr. Abel Green, board-certified internist, geriatrician, and hospice and palliative medicine physician. I am passionate about being able to maximize the care we provide to elderly patients in their homes. That is why I am so excited about sovereignty. This technology would give us the opportunity to detect the functional changes that often precede clinically evident illness in elderly people. Doing so would give me, as the physician, an opportunity to intervene much sooner than I would be able to without sovereignty. I wish every one of my patients had the sovereignty system in their homes. Having this technology available may very well make the difference between being able to stay at home versus going to the emergency room, or even the difference between life and death.
Still don't know what I was waiting for, and my time was running wild in the dead end streets, and every time I thought I got it made, it seemed the taste was not so sweet.
Good evening. I'm Jane Herndon, CEO of Sovereignty. We're rethinking independence and senior care at home, and we're doing so with a $4 million NIH grant to examine change in everyday behavior using machine learning. So why change detection? 90% of seniors want to age in place, but over half will require long-term care. Caregivers are awesome. They're the backbone to our long-term care system, and they're often the first to notice when changes occur in their loved ones. But caregivers can't be there all the time. So the challenge becomes staying on top of those subtle changes in daily function. This is brought home when a loved one is visiting a doctor and they get that diagnosis of Alzheimer's, and the physician tells them, there is no therapeutic, regretfully, but just go home and call me when something changes. Well, in the case of, or in the fog of dementia, that's easier said than done. And as a caregiver, you really don't need one more thing to add to your list of things to do. You're already overwhelmed. Senior change is often characterized in activities of daily living. Activities of daily living essentially are the currency of senior care, used in both diagnosis and in reimbursement. And they basically measure one's ability to do self-care activity like bathing, toileting, and they're based on human observation. And this has been this way for the past couple of decades. Families try to close this observation gap with technology, things like wearables and cameras and motion detectors and even robots. But these often lack context and they're very hard to use and can basically be construed as intrusive. Sovereignty automatically quantifies change in ADL patterns on an individual level using both hardware, software, and analytics to basically create a baseline pattern of one's activities. What you see in this picture are no cameras and microphones. What you do see is somebody going about their daily life. And so sovereignty creates awareness and actionable insight, basically rolling up unique data of daily living to create that baseline pattern. And then that's mapped to these activities of daily living so that you can get a better handle on the trending activity on both a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. And so, like Dr. Green said, this provides a window into the home that we've never really had before, and one with which we could potentially identify problems before they become very severe. So we're validating our solution in our current NIA project, and we're comparing our machine learning approach against the human observation standard. And the findings are very encouraging. We're not only matching, but we are improving upon that measurement standard, and due to the continuous ubiquitous nature of the data. And we're unique in terms of our ability to run across a range of these ADLs. And so we can provide much more context into what's going on in a person's life. And we do so without really asking anything of the senior themselves. And I think in a manner that both preserves privacy and dignity. We are in phase 2 of our National Institute on Aging study. And incidentally, a study that was halted due to COVID. But despite that, we are 120 homes into our 140 pilot home research. This is a large, large opportunity. Over 30 million seniors have 2 or more chronic conditions. Our National Institute on Aging study is focused on seniors with dementia who want to live at home. And so if we just focus on that dementia home care market and just gain 5% share, we could become over a $100 million business in 5 years. Our path to market is B2B2C, and our offering is a SaaS offering, software as a service, and our targets are comprehensive care organizations like PACE, the Program for All-Inclusive Care, and outcomes-based accountable care organizations, as well as market disruptors who are seeking to evaluate rising risk. We've made it thus far with that NIA study and 7 patents, but we have yet to scale. And so that's going to be our focus moving forward, the 500 pilot homes. And we are currently raising $5 million in phases to accomplish that commercialization. Our team is a group of veterans, both with technology and business development, as well as software development, and we're ready to scale. Our team of advisors have deep expertise in population health, clinical care, and smart home health development. Cognitive decline when Donna noticed, robs us of our agency, self-agency, and ability to remain in the homes and communities that we love. We are a team of daughters and sons dedicated to maintaining the dignity and sovereignty of our loved ones. And so if you share that same vision, we'd love to talk with you. Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Clark. I've spent 23 years in healthcare as a physician, an entrepreneur, an investor, and most recently a healthcare administrator. I trained in emergency medicine, and as I look back on my career, I've witnessed an evolution of the standard of care in the way that we treat patients and the way we do a lot of our invasive procedures, thinking about central lines we used to place by anatomic landmarks. Now we're using ultrasound-guided procedures, going from direct laryngoscopy to video-assisted fiber optic laryngoscopy. The standard of care has constantly been elevated, but there's one procedure that I've done hundreds and hundreds of times that just hasn't changed, and that's the chest tube. We're still using the same archaic chest drain, which uses a water seal and little bubbles to tell me if the thing is operating correctly, and I still can't figure it out, and when it's ready to come out. Well, I think it's time to change and elevate the standard of care with respect to chest drains. Dan Dodd agrees with me. And he has a smart solution to improving the standard of care in chest drains, which I think, as a hospital administrator, can potentially reduce pain and patient satisfaction by getting the drains out faster, as well as reduce hospital length of stay, which is a big cost driver for hospitals. So it's my distinct pleasure to introduce Dan Dodd in Lung Healing Technologies. He's got an impressive background in mechanical engineering as well as operations and supply chain management, so he knows how to build gadgets, and I'll let him explain his gadget.
Hi, I'm Dan Dodd, CEO of Lung Healing Technologies based in Chicago. Every year, 1 million lungs collapse in the US, and a third of them involve an air leak, which is a hole in the lung. You can think of broken ribs and gunshot wounds, but the big runners are lung resections and biopsies. Those, by definition, involve a hole in the lung. You're cutting a hole in the lung. A broken rib, right? Did it puncture the lung or not? If it punctured the lung, you've got an air leak. And what you need to do in all these cases, you insert a tube in there and you drain the air and fluid that's compressing the lung. You can't pull that tube out until all the fluid and the air is drained, right, or the lung's going to collapse again. You can see the fluid, but you can't see the air, right? That's what Dr. Clark was talking about. So how do you see the air leak? The second question I have on there is somewhat obvious. We want to heal it faster, right? All our medical devices faster. But how do you even know there's an air leak? So you look at the bubbles Dr. Clark talked about. Top left there, you can see an air leak meter. Every chest drain since the First World War has had bubbles. And every surgeon's been trained on them. And it's like putting a tire in a bathtub, right? If I can see bubbles, that's telling me I've got a hole in my lung. That's subjective, and it needs to be monitored. So about 10 years ago, digital drains came out, and they're helping with the monitored part. They're continually monitoring the airflow and pressure, which is the same thing as the bubbles. It's the same information. They've shown evidence of faster healing. They're healing air leaks faster. We can heal even faster than digital drains, and we can provide an accurate diagnosis. We're doing this with gas analysis. Makes sense, right? We're talking the lung here. Let's take a look at gases. We monitor the oxygen, the carbon dioxide, and pressure in the chest drain. The CO2 in your lung is 100 times higher than it is in ambient. So you're watching the CO2 come down, and that's showing you that the air leak is closing. Next to every patient, you've got oxygen. You have the patient inhale some oxygen. If the oxygen shows up in the chest drain, how did it get there? You've got a hole in the lung. You've got an air leak, right? So it's a 100% accurate way of diagnosing air leaks. And oxygen aids with healing, and carbon dioxide does not. That applies to every cell in the body, and most obviously the lung. So smart drain is going to become this, it's going to capture the air leak market. It's going to become the standard for diagnosing air leaks. A doctor's not going to want to make that decision to pull out a chest tube based on bubbles when he's got gas analysis available, right? We did 2 clinical trials to provide some evidence. The first one with 50 patients there, and it's showing you what you expected. Because of the subjectivity, he's not sure whether he can pull the tube out or not. He's leaving it in there 8 hours longer than he should, so on average 3 days. So that's 11%. That's $4,000. This is hospitalization costs. $4,000 in extra hospitalization costs. $1 billion a year in the U.S. That's just the hospitalization costs. That's not the discomfort, right? Nobody wants this tube in there any longer than they need to. And definitely nobody wants to have it reinserted, right? The second clinical trial, faster healing, right? Can we heal faster? And yes, we can. We show 116 patients, we reduced persistent air leaks from 6 days to 3.4 days. Most importantly, right, we showed the association between increased CO2 and the length of the air leak. So we can only be better at healing than digital drains, right? The business model is pretty easy to understand, $100 million, right? That's $300 a patient times 300,000 patients a year. The prototype's fairly important because we spent a lot of time working on that the past couple of years, and I can show it to you in the back after this. Because can we make money at $300 a patient? That was a big question for the past 2 years. It's a commoditized market, right? Everybody's been using chest drains, and we can, that's the answer. I'll show you the prototype again. We tested sensors from all around the world. It was a lot of fun building it. We found some really cool sensors, and suppliers are really excited to build smart drain at 50% margins. We turned cash flow positive at 1.5 million. There's more than 2 million just in the Chicago area, within 50 miles of Chicago. This isn't about a big sales and marketing campaign. This is about making gas analysis available to a couple of local hospitals, and the ball will get rolling from there. We can sell them over the internet or a variety of distribution channels. An observational trial is the key objective. We want to get our 510K, we want to build 300 of these, and we want to duplicate the results of Dr. Barat's clinical trials. And the sell is pretty straightforward. A $300 device saves $4,000 a patient. A physician's not going to want to be looking at bubbles to make a decision as to whether to pull a drain on. He's going to be asking for the gas analysis chest tube. We're using government funding as much as we can, but it's slow and it sidetracks and it doesn't cover everything. It doesn't cover your 510K, for example. This isn't a difficult device to build. It's plastic drains. Again, I'll show it to you in the back. And we're putting a few sensors in there. There's very little risk to the patients. The 510K is pretty straightforward. We're an experienced team. I've been building stuff my whole career. I transitioned from the corporate world to startups about 10 years ago. And I was looking for a good idea. And Dr. Barat had just received the patent for Smart Drain. He's the chief of thoracic surgery at Northwestern. He's switching out lungs for COVID patients these days. So he's your last resort. If you get COVID, he'll give you a new lung. Alex, it was one of the engineers at the Northern Illinois University who built the prototype. And Dennis has been doing startups his whole life, especially medical device startups. Every surgeon is trained on the bubbles. Gas analysis makes a lot more sense, right? Thanks for being part of the change.
It's my very great pleasure today to introduce you Cheryl Shao. As a serial entrepreneur who has started and sold 9 companies over the last 30 years, and somehow managed to produce an Academy Award-winning film along the way, I am also an angel investor. And when I look at companies and evaluate the people and the product, I always look for founders who don't just think their product is kind of cool, but they want to use it themselves. She is that person. I'm very proud of what Cheryl has achieved, and that's because I have kids, and one of them went through the very process that simple can disrupt. My daughter had to choose between braces and a retainer, and like many teens, was against braces. And like many more teens, she never really wore the retainer. The process was time-consuming, requiring multiple visits to the orthodontist, costly, and in the end, it was actually pretty much a failure. So eliminating the visits and spreading out the costs would have made simple an easy choice had it been available. So she has my blessings and my business. And now, I give you Cheryl.
Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentration.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cheryl Shao, founder and CEO of Simpal, a novel clear aligner company, do orthodontics safer, better, and cheaper. How many of you really know what's going on when you strain your teeth? I didn't before. Take a look at my first orthodontic treatment with braces. I had 4 adult teeth extracted and my teeth pulled back and aligned. As a result, I had straight teeth. However, my airway was compromised, along with my face, TMJ, and tongue space. So why am I sharing my story? Because I know there can be a better way of doing orthodontics. There are 2 main philosophies in orthodontics: traditional orthodontics versus holistic orthodontics. Traditional orthodontics treats the symptoms of crooked teeth, believes your teeth should fit your jaws, often extracting teeth. On the other hand, holistic orthodontics treats the cause of crooked teeth, believes your jaws should fit your teeth, often expanding your jaws. It was not until I was diagnosed with sleep apnea did I do orthodontics with braces again and again. It took several years of education before and during dental school did I realize the effectiveness of holistic orthodontics. Not only did my profile improve, but I could finally say that I'm sleep apnea free. When you have crooked teeth, it's because your face and jaws did not develop properly. Your cheeks flatten and your jaws fall down and back. That is why Simpal was born. We created a holistic patent-pending clear aligning system, SimTray, that takes into account of the face when straightening your teeth. The process works like this. You would get a referral from a local dentist to be cleared for orthodontic treatment. Then we send you an impressions kit, and you send your impressions along with pictures for us to review. We personalize your treatment, and then we send you your first set of SimTray aligners. We have a mobile tooth tracking app that's monitored by a doctor, making the process safe and convenient. At the end of treatment, you can share your smile at #SimpalSmile. Simpal combines the best of both worlds by being a clear aligner system that can cover more cases, but having the aesthetic and convenience that braces do not provide. Our patent-pending design does holistic orthodontics, whereas B2B Invisalign is limited. We also have no attachments like buttons or brackets on teeth. Also, we are cheaper. We correct your bite and have doctor supervisions through a mobile app, whereas B2C Smile Direct Club does not. Due to Invisalign trimming their clear aligner at the gum line, they either need to remove teeth, shave down teeth, or place attachments to grip, move, and rotate teeth. Simpal grips, moves, and rotates teeth without attachments, which means lesser chair time for the doctor, but our quality of care is no less. We're also significantly cheaper, about 1/3 the cost of Invisalign. Take a look at the B2C Smile Direct Club case. Without dental training, you may think this looks good. However, being a team of dentists and orthodontists, we are appalled at this case. The patient started with an open bite, and the open bite got worse after treatment. Current clear aligner companies are founded by business entrepreneurs. Simpal is founded by dental entrepreneurs with orthodontic advisors, so we know how to do orthodontics at the gold standard of care. Simpal also does more expansion than the B2C clear aligners, being able to cover more cases, 74% versus 46%. Simpal can tap into the potential of the untapped market. If we price our clear aligners at $2,500, that's a $575 billion potential market. However, if we focus only on the clear aligner market, I'm saying the clear aligner, not the orthodontic market, just the clear aligner market, that's a $2.41 billion market. If we were to capture even 10% of the current clear aligner market, that has a $241 million market. If we price our clear aligners at $2,500, we can make a $1,900 profit per patient, which is a 76% gross margin. However, we had the potential to cut our costs by 2/3 with scaling, which includes manufacturing our own clear aligners. Our orthodontic advisors are keen on using SimTray in their office. Due to the high demand of patients that want to use SimTray, SimPal's go-to-market is to go B2C in parallel with B2B. We're working with a contract manufacturer that is already FDA approved, so we do not need FDA clearance to go B2C. Our vision, though, is to eventually expand into B2B. We currently have 2 patents filed. In January 2022, we start a pilot. In January 2023, we go officially launch into the B2C market. Next, we'll do R&D in preparation to scale up and go B2B in January 2025. My team consists of highly talented and resilient leaders in their industry with remarkable credentials. We believe that we are the team that can take SimPal to market successfully. Currently, we have raised $145,000 from family, friends, and the Accelerator program. We're seeking $875,000 to prepare for our B2C go-to-market launch, which includes getting a global patent, marketing, and R&D into B2B. If interested, please email at cheryl@simtray.com to discuss more, and we look forward to talking with you afterwards. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Sight is the most important sense for human beings. Today, I would like to talk to you about a progressive eye disease called keratoconus. This is how these patients see the world right now. We have 218 million eyes to be treated globally. And being a progressive eye disease, we have 1.8 million new eyes to be treated every year at the worldwide level, just considering stage 2 to 4, which is our target group of patients. The mechanisms behind the disease are double: a weakening of the collagen fibers and a thinning of the cornea itself, which is leading to a protrusion of the central part of the eye and to a very good quality of vision. What is currently available for these patients is a combination of 2 surgical techniques, the cross-linking and the intracorneal segment. The first is a pharmacological treatment effective in limiting the progression of the disease, especially in early and mid-stage keratoconus. On the other side, the intracorneal segments were initially developed for patients with myopia and adopted just as a secondary use for patients with keratoconus, basically to decrease astigmatism and corneal abnormalities. But they are not effective in at least 50% of the keratoconus cases due to the unpredictability of the visual outcomes. At Reconia, we want keratoconus patients to recover vision and to see the world nicely again. We have developed the first ever nighttime corneal implant to treat keratoconus efficiently with predictable visual outcomes, the Grosso implant, where the uniqueness of the device is in the curvature, similar to the physiological eye, and in all the corneal tissues for a precise, complete, and predictable remodeling of the entire cornea, as opposed to what is currently happening with the competitor devices, the intracorneal segments, which are implanted peripherally in the eye with no action in the central part where actually the keratoconus is located. We have developed a minimally invasive device combined with a minimally invasive surgery. We can implant the device just through a 3.5 mm side cut incision. The device is fully developed with contract manufacturers certified to T485. The patent is granted in Italy and extended in the 8 main geographies from Europe, US up to Japan. Looking at the market of keratoconus, we are specifically targeting at the beginning, stage 3 and 4, the most severe cases of keratoconus where there is a lack of current solutions and are already accounting for 47% of the total market. We are then going to reach also patient stage 2, accounting for 80% of the total addressable market, which is $1.1 billion every year just based on incidence. And we are targeting to get 80% market share by year 5. On the upstream, we are finalizing industrial partnership with a leading medtech company, investing in Recona and being in charge of the entire manufacturing of the gross implant. On the downstream, we have LOI signed with the ophthalmic companies and distributors of ophthalmic products for a final selling price $700 to $1,200 per device to hospitals and private teams. Being a medtech company, this is our roadmap. We are currently in the preclinical phase, and the milestones in the next 18 months are to end the preclinical trials and the first pilot clinical trial on 12 patients. To get then the CE mark and be on the market in Europe first and then US towards the end of 2024. We have secured a grant from the European Commission for $1.9 million that is currently ongoing. And on the top of the grant, we are currently fundraising for $1.4 million to bring us up to the end of the pilot clinical trial. I'm Emiliano, the CEO of Recona. Recona is actually my third startup, and the first 2 ones we exited through a pure IP licensing agreement. I have experience in product innovation and business development in Europe, Japan, and Singapore. Moses, the CSO of Recona, co-founder with me. He has more than 10 years of experience in running clinical trials for both biopharmaceuticals and medical devices in Uganda, UK, and Singapore. Arcadio and Thomas have decades of experience, and they are in charge of regulatory and manufacturing, complementing our team. We have currently on board 2 investors. We have already raised 2 pre-seed rounds from Entrepreneur First from Singapore and G Factor from Italy. If you are interested, come and please join us in our journey to prevent color blindness through innovation. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shlomo Harnaz, and I'm a mentor and investor here with Health Wildcatters and the managing director for Aquilith. I work the broad range of pharma, biotech, and medical devices on evaluation and commercial diligence for licensing and acquisition, as well as commercial strategy and product and portfolio development. And in a past life, I was a biochemist and molecular biologist. So across that full range of experience, every single part of those resonated when I came across this next company, Spectrix. As all of us who are involved in healthcare know, the path for any new therapy to make it to patients is long and arduous and filled with hurdles. For any given drug that receives FDA approval, 5 to 10 have gone through clinical trials. Dozens to hundreds have reached the preclinical stage of development, and tens to hundreds of thousands of potential candidates have been screened prior to that. And so despite the technological developments and improvements of the past few decades, there's still a very substantial need for faster, more expedient, more efficient screening of these initial candidates at the start of this journey. And that is the challenge that Spectrix has tackled head on. This group has developed a novel technological platform that applies a well-established approach at a level of speed and scaling that is, as far as I know, is unprecedented. And so they do that without sacrificing sensitivity or performance, which they maintain comparable to the current options. So what they've done essentially is to really help address a clear need in early stage drug development, screening, and characterization with applications across industry and research, and potentially also in diagnostics as well. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Ali Okiai, CEO of Spectrix.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street light, people. Don't stop believing. Hold on. Street light, people.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ali Okiai, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Spectrix. Spectrix is developing high-throughput drug screening platform for faster and cheaper drug discovery. Our technology is fast, high sensitivity, and comes at a fraction of the cost. The target market is drug development companies as well as companies operating in the biopharma research and production environment. Drug discovery is a beast in itself. On average, it takes $3 to $10 billion of R&D expenses to develop a single drug. A big portion of this expense is in the drug discovery phase, where some 10,000 drug molecules need to be tested against tens of thousands of known chemicals and proteins. Just the sheer size of the test is huge. It takes a lot of time and money. Despite the ongoing innovation, there's still an unmet need for speed and sensitivity. In the past several decades, biosensor technologies have improved the speed in the cost of sensitivity. The existing technologies are either too slow or not sensitive enough or simply too expensive. Spectrix is building on the established surface plasmon resonance technology, taking it 2 orders of magnitude higher in speed by miniaturizing and using parallelism. The image shows our laboratory prototype completed in 2021. We have demonstrated functionality and collected critical data that actually verifies our technology. The equipment market is huge. It's $700 million in 2021, and it's expected to reach $1 billion by 2026. Spectrix achieves high throughput, higher sensitivity at a low cost. The current industry leader based on biolayer interference technology, the equipment, single equipment costs $270,000. That's a big capital expense. It can measure 8 simultaneous channels, and the cost of operating of the consumables is $1,500 per tray. Spectrix cuts down the fixed cost significantly. It can measure 96 simultaneous channels. And the cost of operation consumables is less than $10 per tray. So for the same capital expense, Spectrix is achieving more than 120x faster screening. So we have already developed a laboratory prototype, demonstrated functionality, collected vital data that proves our technology. We filed the key patent to protect our technology and working on several more patents to increase our IP portfolio. We're building a 2-channel prototype to be able to break into key accounts of customers, to establish relationships and kick off joint testing programs. We're going to build a 96-channel model in 2023, and in 2024, we will have a full rollout and the consumables subscriber model. So we're asking for $500,000 for the first year to build 10 units and break into key accounts of customers. Our team, myself and my co-founder, Aykutlu, both Stanford engineering PhDs. Aykutlu is a world-renowned expert in biosensor technology. He has 2 startup experience in the Bay Area. I have successfully commercialized 3 hardware products. Our advisors, Professor Zeynep Altıntaş and Ayşe Tekinay, are among key opinion leaders in drug discovery and biochemical sensing. We are working with them to collect more data with our system. Spectrix is developing biosensor technology, which is high throughput, high sensitivity, and cuts the cost to a fraction of the cost. So if you're interested to impact the drug discovery, we are really looking forward to talking to you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Swift, and I'm actually going to stand back here because my notes are kind of big, and I want to have them here. But I'm a periodontist in Kansas. For those of you that don't know what a periodontist is, I'm a dental surgeon that specializes in the treatment and maintenance of patients that have lost either gingival tissues or jawbone. I am a board-certified diplomate of the American Board of Periodontology, as well as a fellow of the American College of Dentistry. I've been practicing dentistry for over 20 years, so I have lots of experience when it comes to the needs of both patients and dentists. It's an honor to introduce Dr. Tina Sa to you. We are both active members in Mommy Dentist and Business Group, and last year when I needed a new light for my loops, I began asking colleagues for recommendations. I kept hearing great reviews about a wireless dental light that was lightweight, could be changed from glasses to glasses, and was actually affordable. Enter Tina Sa. Dr. Sa is the founder of Light Solutions Dental, which made this particular light, and as you can see, I'm still a big fan. I'm excited about her new patient-focused dental product, which focuses on the prevention of disease, oral genome. Most of us think of prevention as simply brushing, flossing, and twice yearly visits to the dentist. We now know there's so much more to it. Oral genome helps find the aspects in saliva that influence the risk of dental disease. Patients will receive targeted specific recommendations on what they can do at home to reduce those risks. We have not had a tool like oral genome, but now we do. As a practicing periodontist and business owner, it is my honor and pleasure to welcome the innovator of oral genome. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Tina Sa.
Yeah, I'm playful. Scratch that, baby, I'm playful. Gotta say it's really been a while, but now I got that smile. I'm so playful. Scratch that, baby, I'm playful. Now you see me shine from a mile. Finally got that smile. Every day, round her day.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tina Sa. I'm a dentist, founder, and CEO of Oral Genome. We at Oral Genome are transforming the way people and their dentists see dental prevention. As a practicing dentist and someone who's been in the field for over 15 years, I've spent a lot of time in the dental chair fixing teeth with the drill. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit and my practice was forced to close down for 3 months, I started thinking, there's gotta be a better way to fix teeth or prevent dental problems from happening. You see, in dentistry, there's a lack of prevention tools. Brushing and flossing are the current main prevention tools. And that hasn't changed much since the 1950s when oral hygiene and the importance of it was more publicly known. There's a lot of interpersonal variations out there, and everyone has a different risk health profile and risk level, and there's no one size fits all. We all know somebody in our life who seems to always have cavities, seems to always have bleeding gums, and worst of all, we know somebody who has bad breath, and we're just too embarrassed to tell them. Dentistry is very reactive. We fix problems as dentists with the drill, not necessarily prevent them, and all dental innovation has been in acute care and not well care. Currently, at-home health testing is projected to be a $7 billion industry by 2027, and 100% of it is in medical, none of it, 0%, is in dental. And that is why we've created Oral Genome. Oral Genome is a convenient, at-home dental saliva test with results and recommendations people can easily understand. Our solution is a non-invasive salivary test. There's no blood, no needles, and it's just spit. It's personalized recommendations that we target biomarkers to prevent cavities, gum disease, and bad breath. We have concrete prevention tools for the dentist because every dentist wants to do prevention but lacks the tools, and we provide lab results to guide those recommendations for prevention like oral hygiene, dietary, lifestyle, and supplements. What we do at Oral Genome is we're innovating dental wellness. We are transforming dentistry from acute care to well care. Patients love us because we're a non-invasive test. We have targeted recommendations that we can implement today with dietary, lifestyle, oral hygiene products and supplements. We have a wellness tracking that can have the kit sent to their house every 3 months so that they can stay on path for a healthy mouth and so that they can prevent major issues and lifelong prevention and healthy smiles for life. And dentists love us because we provide comprehensive care. We're the only tool on the market to give you lab results and also recommendations. There's no chair time involved, which allows the dentist to have high producing procedures and additional revenue through kit sales in their office. And if they choose to do some consultation, there are existing codes that you can build out to the ADA. We have achieved several milestones. We currently have had a proof of concept with our first generation product launched and sold B2C. We have a strong IP strategy with a patent filed, another provisional patent filed, a trademark issue, and another trademark filed. We have an expansion of capabilities, and this is huge, with early oral cancer detection and genetic markers. At Oral Genome, we think big and we don't just stop there. And so the first time ever, I am so excited to unveil our second generation test. This is the first ever in dentistry. The patient is going to they are going to drop their saliva on each of the boxes in the card, take a photo in the app, and they'll get instant on-demand results. It takes less than 2 minutes, it's AI driven, and as I said, immediate results. There's no mailing back, no lab technician, and it's immediate. What that means as a company is that we're able to deliver tests with high profit margins, a cost of goods less than $5, and a greater than 200% margin opportunity. We are asking $1 million to develop and commercialize an innovative wellness technology that will provide immediate on-demand results and recommendations never before seen in dentistry. We have a wellness technology. We'd like to build a mobile app to support it, and of course, for marketing and sales. So why us? Why now? Because people and dentistry is ready for this. Healthcare has been on the verge of transformation for years, but just in a matter of few short months, the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated digital health. And patients now are looking for convenient, not only convenient and digital health, but also something that is patient-centered. And we at Oral Genome have a team to back this. So as a 3-time healthcare startup founder, I invite you to reimagine dental prevention and help us shift dentistry from acute care to well care. With that said, if you don't remember anything in my presentation, remember this: taking care of your teeth is incredibly important, because even though this guy is missing an eyebrow, the first thing you notice is his missing tooth. So thank you for listening, and we would love for you to join us at Oral Genome.
It's a tradition. All right, I'm ahead of you, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of those beers from Manhattan Project Brewing. So thank you, Manhattan Project Brewing. Thank you, CLP Studios, for the AV. Yeah, please, round of applause for them. This is not trivial. I can just tell you, not trivial to have Zoomers come in, pre-recorded video, all that. This is about as good as it gets. It's amazing. Hopefully we all get better at it, and that seamless experience will continue. I don't think virtual is going to go away, but I'm grateful for you to be here. We have food out there. We have good locally brewed beer. We have wine and all sorts of other stuff. So enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you for joining us here. Thank you for your support of entrepreneurship. As you can see, yes, here in Dallas, but by no means because of entrepreneurs just from Dallas. So enjoy meeting the startup entrepreneurs. I look forward to seeing you this evening and many more times. And thanks again for being here.
Der großen Stadt, es war ein Wiederbauweller, wo alles tat. Hatte Schulden, dann Ertrag, doch ihn liebten alle Frauen. Und jeder rief, da kann man Rock mir Amadeus.